lose yourself in a good book. The Bord Gáis Energy Book Club.
Now, it wasn't just hocus pocus when Ireland's only mass witchcraft trial was held in 1711. On one side, 8 terrified women protesting their innocence. On the other, a pretty and pious young newcomer from a higher social class, insisting that she was bewitched, thus causing a scandal.
Fast forward 300 years later, and best-selling author Martina Devlin stumbled across a passing reference to it in a newspaper, which compelled her to dig deeper, culminating in her brand new book, The House Where It Happened. And she joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Martina.
Good morning.
It is often these little tiny things that trigger the smallest of acorns beget the greatest of oaks. What did you see and where did you see it?
Irish Independent, it happened this day. It said on this day in 1711, 8 women were convicted of witchcraft in Antrim, in Carrickfergus, County Antrim. And I thought, 8 women? That's a mass witchcraft trial. I've never heard of it.
No.
And in fact, it was Ireland's only mass witchcraft trial and the last conviction for witchcraft in Ireland, because already by 1711, educated people were saying, they're just poor deluded souls, or this is neighbours taking action against other neighbours being spiteful. And it was just terribly unfortunate, a confluence of circumstances that resulted in the 8 women from around Island Magee and Carrickfergus being put through a witchcraft trial.
Now, we said it there in the intro, Martina, that it was a newcomer to the area, but from a higher social caste or higher social order. Why would the word, even of somebody who was, you know, their betters, so to speak, why would the word of a newcomer be taken against the word of 8 locals who people would have known and grown up with?
It's mystifying, really. It mirrors what happened in Salem 19 years earlier, where one woman's word was taken against respected members of the community. And I think it's because witch fever takes over and panic sets in and all sorts of superstition. You can't also set aside the fact that people may have had an axe to grind as well. The 8 women who were named and identified were didn't fit the template of what a good girl should be. They were, perhaps they used tobacco, some of them drank. They had little deformities, not major ones, but lame, pockmarked, clawham, that kind of thing. Whereas this very attractive, very intelligent, by all accounts, young woman arrived, and suddenly her word was taken. She was a credible witness. That's the problem.
And how did her bewitchment manifest itself, or what did she say happened to her?
So her claim was that this coven wanted her to join them in their diabolical practices. And again, this underpins the chasteness and the piousness, where she was saying no, and that's why they were punishing her. Her body arched backwards like a bow, her belly stuck up in the air. She had convulsions during which 3 men could barely hold her down. She spoke...
Was this documented, or
yes,
was just...
Yes, eyewitnesses saw this. Ministers came from far and wide to watch it, but the neighbours saw it as well. And we know all this because depositions were placed with the court, with the assizes in Carrickfergus, telling us what happened.
Modern science, of course, would say she was probably an epileptic.
Well... Was
Did
she mad
speak in tongues?
No, she didn't.
She didn't. Okay.
But I mean, the question is, was she mad or was she bad?
Yeah.
And that's where, as a novelist, you adopt a position. I certainly had my own thoughts on it. What I noticed was there was no medical evidence taken, and that might have changed the situation.
So it was really well documented from what you're saying.
Yes, it caused a sensation, the trial at the time. It was written about in Dublin newspapers, and you have to remember that from Carrickfergus to Dublin at that time was a very long distance. When you think of where this happened in Ireland, Magee, among the Ulster Scots community, Scotland is only 13 miles away.
Yes.
The other thing is, it's no coincidence it happened among the Ulster Scots Presbyterian community with that kind of Calvinistic strain that you must always be on guard against the devil as a force on earth as opposed to a metaphor for evil. And it was limited to this quite insular community. I was haunted by the story when I stumbled across it. You know, you have lots of ideas for books, and why do you run with a particular one? And I felt very strongly that the voices of the 8 women had been silenced in 1711 in the court case when their innocent pleas were ignored, and then they were silenced by history, by being forgotten. Of course, they're remembered locally in Island Magee, although there are no memorials, there's nothing.
But you
like
remember
that.
them here?
Well, I wanted to give voice to them again, and I was also intrigued by Mary Dunbar, this girl. Why would she arrive and do this? And there seems to be some suggestion that she would have known about Salem, she would have known about witchcraft trials in Scotland, and she would have got a bit
Did she
carried
ever
away.
recant?
No, never.
Wow.
The problem is people drop out of history.
Yeah.
We don't really know
So
what
we don't know
happened
what
to her
became of her.
afterwards. No, although I suspect she was married off very quickly and silenced. We do know that after the trial, she pitched up again at home and said, oh, there's 3 more witches after me. And very quickly she's shut down at that stage. And you get the impression of people saying, oops, that's enough.
Martina, great news. In this has been optioned. It's going to be a movie, and also it's just been put on the syllabus in Trinity.
That's right, yes. And I'm hoping to go in and talk to the students in Trinity about it, though I'm a bit nervous they'll know a lot more about witchcraft than I do.
It's a fascinating topic. It
That
really
den of
is.
iniquity known as Trinity.
I went there myself.
Not only are people saying it's a wonderful story, but it's very beautifully written. So, Martina,
Oh,
well done.
thank you.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Pleasure.
And don't leave it as long next time now, will you please?
Write another book, quick.
We'll take a break. See you back in a minute.
Lose yourself in a good book. The Board Gosh Energy Book Club.